Odin's command was clear. Bring Superman down before he tears the realms apart. But Thor hesitated not because of fear, but because he knew the truth. Superman wasn't the threat. The Avengers were being lied to. As portals opened across Earth, Mjolnir was raised not in battle, but in defiance. Iron Man led the strike team. Hawkeye had him in sights. But Thor stood in their path. "You'll have to go through me first," he growled, lightning building around him. The skies trembled. The Bifrost activated. Odin was watching. And Thor, the god of thunder, just declared war on Asgard for Superman. In the golden halls of Asgard, storms churned above the Bifrost. Odin's eye narrowed as visions of a fractured earth played in the All-Sight. Explosions in Metropolis. A shattered shield. A figure cloaked in red and blue, hovering above a burning battlefield. And beneath him, the fallen bodies of Earth's mightiest heroes. "Superman," Odin growled, voice echoing across the throne room like thunder. "This being, this god from another world, has gone too far." The air cracked with energy as Thor entered, lightning trailing behind him, his armor still singed from the last war against the frost giants. "Father," he said, stepping forward, "Superman is no villain. His heart is just." Odin's fist slammed the arm of his throne. "He's too powerful, too unstable. And now he's crossed the line. The Avengers have requested our help. I've seen what he becomes if no one stops him." Thor stared at the image, Superman floating alone, eyes glowing red, above a crumbling cityscape. Something felt wrong. This wasn't the man he fought beside in the Battle of the Rift. Superman was noble. He didn't kill unless there was no choice. But Odin wasn't asking. This was a royal decree. "You are to join Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Strange," Odin ordered. "Find Superman. Contain him. If necessary, end him." Thor remained still. The weight of the command thundered in his chest, louder than Mjolnir ever had. Earth. The sky was burning crimson with dust as Iron Man hovered above the ruins of the United Nations building. The Council had tried to negotiate with Superman after the Sokovia Accords fell apart. But when a Kryptonian gets angry, buildings don't stand. "Target's still on the move," said Natasha, monitoring satellite feeds. "He's not hiding. He's helping people evacuate." "Helping," Stark replied, his voice tight. "Helping people or setting up a throne?" The Avengers were fractured. Some believed Superman had gone rogue. Others thought he was framed. But one thing was clear. No one trusted him anymore. And when the world turns on a god, you don't wait for him to strike. You hit first. "Thor better get here fast," said Banner from the Quinjet, already beginning to twitch under pressure. "Because if this goes south, we're going to need backup." A bolt of lightning cracked the sky open. Thor descended, Mjolnir in hand, his cape whipping behind him like a war flag. The others gathered on a rooftop, overlooking the chaos below. "We move in 1 hour," Stark said. "Targets in Sector 9, helping survivors." The second he shows aggression. "We're not assassins," Thor interrupted. "Tell that to the 6 agents he left in the hospital," said Rhodey coldly. "I know Superman," Thor replied. "He doesn't lash out unless he's provoked." "He's been provoked," Natasha said. "He's lost control." Silence fell. No one liked this. Not even Tony. But the world was scared. And scared people call for heroes to become weapons. Thor said nothing. He turned, letting the storm clouds swirl around him. His thoughts raced. The All-Father's vision haunted him, but so did the memory of Superman lifting a crashed school bus from a river, using his own body as a shield against an alien blast. He needed answers, not orders. Later that night, amidst the shattered remains of a subway station, Thor found him. Superman. He was kneeling beside a child, lifting rubble carefully, dust clouding his face. His cape was torn, and his eyes were tired. "You've come to kill me too?" Superman asked without looking up. "No," Thor said. "I came for the truth." Superman stood slowly, his eyes meeting Thor's with a depth of pain only gods know. "They think I lost control," he said. "But I didn't. I was framed. Red Skull. Lex. Something twisted everything." "Then prove it," Thor said. "Come with me. Speak to the Avengers." Superman laughed, not with joy, but with exhaustion. They don't want the truth, Thor. They want a war. And you know what happens when gods go to war? The ground trembled, not from Superman, but from the Quinjet descending behind Thor. They had been followed. I didn't call them, Thor said quickly. But they're here, Superman replied. And the rooftop filled with light as Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and the rest of the team stepped forward, weapons ready, shields raised, eyes cold. Step aside, Thor, Tony said. This doesn't concern you anymore. It concerns all of us, Thor growled. You attack him without proof. You'll be no better than those we fight. We don't have time for proof, said Captain Marvel. We have casualties. Superman raised his hands slowly, showing peace. You want me? I'll come. Just don't let it end in blood. No, Thor shouted. There is another way. Stand down, ordered Tony, targeting systems locking onto Superman. Thor stepped forward, planting himself between the Avengers and the Kryptonian. Mjolnir sparked to life in his hand. You will not touch him, Thor said. This is treason, Carol warned. No, Thor replied. This is justice. The wind howled as silence fell. Odin watched from the Bifrost, seething. His son had just declared war, not only on the Avengers, but on the throne of Asgard itself. And above the earth, a new storm was beginning. The rooftop was silent. Not even the wind moved. Iron Man's gauntlets were lit. Captain Marvel hovered midair, radiating energy. Hawkeye had Superman in his scope. The rest stood poised, not as teammates, but as executioners. And yet, in front of all of them stood Thor. Still, calm, lightning crawling across his shoulders, like chained dragons ready to be unleashed. Move, Thor, Tony said, voice more tired than angry now. I cannot, Thor replied. You strike without honor, without trial. This is not the way of heroes. You've seen what he's done, Carol snapped. What he could do. Are you waiting for more cities to fall? More bodies to count? He was saving people, Thor said. When I found him, he wasn't waging war. He was lifting rubble with his bare hands. He was helping children breathe again. You call him a weapon, but I saw a man. Superman remained behind him, silent. Not because he was afraid, but because he knew how close this was to spiraling. One wrong word, one flick of power, and the world would lose more than just a hero. It would lose everything. Rhodey stepped forward. Even if he's telling the truth, we can't take the risk. Not with his power level. Thor raised his voice. Then what? You strike down every being stronger than you? You become executioners of potential. Don't test me, Thor, said Tony. Because if you're protecting him, that makes you a target too. Mjolnir twitched in Thor's hand. And then it happened. A pulse of crimson light surged from the horizon. For a second, the sky turned dark red. Someone was watching, manipulating. Superman's eyes snapped toward the source. There, he whispered. That's it. That's the energy. That's what turned the UN against me. That's what killed those agents. The Avengers didn't look. They didn't want more complexity. They wanted resolution. Enough, said Natasha, cold and final. Take him. In an instant, the rooftop erupted into chaos. Carol launched forward like a meteor, aiming straight for Superman's chest. But Thor intercepted her mid-flight, the sky detonating with thunder as the two gods clashed mid-air. Lightning slammed against cosmic fire. Iron Man charged next, repulsors flaring, trying to flank Superman from the side. But the Kryptonian blurred, dodging with precision and landing lightly on a crane above. I don't want this, Superman shouted. Too late for that. Tony yelled, launching mini-rockets into the sky. Thor returned, crashing down between Iron Man and Superman, smashing the missiles out of the air. Enough. But they weren't listening anymore. The Avengers had made up their minds. They weren't trying to stop Superman. They were trying to win. Falcon swooped in from above, wings slicing through smoke, throwing an EMP net. Superman caught it midair, crushed it with one hand, and tossed it aside. His restraint was incredible. He could have ended the fight 5 times already. But he didn't throw a single punch. Until Banner roared. From behind the rubble, Hulk burst through, 12 feet of fury, blood boiling at the sight of Superman. "You made me look weak," he bellowed. "Hulk, don't," Thor tried to intercept. But it was too late. The green giant slammed into Superman like a meteor, sending both of them crashing through buildings. Windows exploded. Foundations trembled. Superman took the hits, each one enough to kill a lesser being, but didn't strike back. Until Hulk went for the neck. That's when Superman blinked, and Hulk hit the ground. Not dead, but unconscious. Fastest knockout in Hulk's history. The battlefield froze. Everyone had seen it. Everyone felt it. Even while defending himself, Superman had pulled his punch. Because if he hadn't, Hulk wouldn't have gotten up again. "You all know it now," Thor said, stepping between them again. "You saw what he could do, but didn't. He could have ended all of you. He didn't." Tony was breathing heavily, suit flickering, smoke rising. "That doesn't prove he's innocent." "No," Superman said, rising into the air, "but it proves you're scared. And fear is louder than facts." Suddenly, the sky cracked again. This time not from Thor, not from Superman, but from above. A rift opened, a spiral of crimson energy twisting reality. And from within, a voice echoed, "They will never believe you, Kal-El. That is your curse." A figure emerged from the rift, cloaked in shadows. Not Red Skull, not Lex, but someone older, smarter, calm. The Time Tyrant. "I fed the fear," Kang said, hovering above Earth. "I showed them visions of what you might do. Just enough to make them act. Just enough to make them fall apart." "You manipulated time," Superman said, fists clenched. "I didn't change it," Kang smiled. "I revealed what already lived in their hearts." Iron Man stared up at him. "You set us up." "No," Kang replied, "you did. I just handed you the match." Then he vanished. The rift sealed. And in the silence that followed, no one spoke. Because now they knew the truth. They had been played. Every order, every strike, every accusation, fed by fear, planted by a time warlord who thrived on broken alliances. Thor turned to Tony. "Now tell me," he said, "was I wrong to stand in the way?" Iron Man took off his helmet slowly, bruised, drained. "No," he whispered. "You weren't." Above them, the sky was finally still. Below, a broken team looked around, realizing the cost of their certainty. And beside them, Superman floated alone. Not as a god, not as a killer, but as the man who chose not to fight back. The silence didn't last. Above Earth, the Bifrost roared open with blinding force. The skies didn't shimmer, they screamed. The Rainbow Bridge slammed into the battlefield like judgment from the gods. And from it emerged Heimdall, but not alone. Behind him came warriors of Asgard, the elite guard, shields raised, swords humming with divine energy. And walking at their front, one eye blazing, beard like flame, was Odin. The All-Father had arrived. No warning, no diplomacy, just presence and judgment. Thor lowered Mjolnir slowly. "Father." Odin raised his spear, Gungnir, and the sky itself seemed to pause. "You dare speak to me after disobeying a direct royal command." Thor held his ground. "I stopped a war." "No," Odin growled, "you chose a side, and you chose wrong." The Avengers stood in silence, battered and confused, unsure if they were allies or witnesses. Superman was already in the air, hovering just beyond reach, watching Odin with careful eyes. Odin didn't look at the others. His fury was focused entirely on Thor. "You defied the throne," Odin said. "For him? A stranger from another realm." "He was innocent," Thor answered. "We were being used. You saw the visions, but not the source. Kang manipulated time itself." "I see deeper than you know," Odin snapped. "And I saw the cost of your compassion, a future where Asgard burns because of your mercy." "Then the vision is wrong," Thor said, "because I will not let that happen." Lightning coiled around him, not from rage, but conviction. Odin's voice deepened. "Then, as ruler of Asgard, I strip you of your command. You are no longer prince, no longer protector. You are a traitor." Gasps broke across the rooftop. Even Superman looked stunned. But Thor did not break. He nodded once. So be it. And dropped Mjolnir. The hammer slammed into the concrete, unmoving. Odin stepped forward, raising Gungnir toward his son's chest. Kneel. Thor looked him in the eye. I would kneel for justice, but not for fear. The spear glowed, and before it could strike, Superman landed. Fast. Not with aggression, but presence. Between Thor and Odin. No more, Superman said. This isn't your fight. Odin's eye narrowed. You think you can stop me? I don't want to, Superman replied. But I will not let you punish him for doing what was right. The sky cracked again, but this time from Thor's side. Behind them, the hammer lifted. Not by Odin's will, but by Thor's worth. Mjolnir flew back to Thor's hand with a roar that echoed through the realms. The energy that surged through him shook the ground, cracked the clouds, and told everyone he was still worthy. Even Odin's fury paused, because not even he could deny the will of the hammer. Odin lowered his spear slowly, the fire in his eye dimming to frost. Then, you are no longer of Asgard. You are of Earth. And in those words, Odin exiled his own son, without shouting, without war, just silence. Heimdall bowed his head, not in shame, but respect. Then the Bifrost opened again, and Asgard's forces vanished into light, leaving Thor alone. Or so Odin thought, because in that moment, Tony Stark stepped beside Thor. No offense, he said, battered and bleeding, but that was the most metal thing I've ever seen. Wanda joined them. So did Bruce, Natasha, even Carol, still scorched from her clash with Thor, floated down slowly. We were wrong. Thor didn't smile. He didn't need to. Superman turned to the group. Kang's still out there, and we're already on borrowed time. Tony nodded. Then we rebuild, together. But far above them, the sky shimmered again, because while Asgard had left, Kang had not. From the edges of time, he watched through his fractured mirror of realities, hundreds of versions of Thor and Superman blinking through his prism. Some dead, some victorious, some enslaved. All it takes, he whispered, is one betrayal, one fear, one moment. His fingers danced across timelines. He was not done. Back on Earth, in the ruins of Stark Tower, the Avengers were silent as Superman stared out over the city. Why didn't you fight back earlier? Wanda asked. Because, Superman said softly, I wasn't fighting you. You could have crushed us, Bruce said. Superman didn't answer that. He didn't need to, because restraint was his superpower. Thor joined him, shoulder to shoulder. Two gods. One cast out, one hunted. Both misunderstood. You know this makes us targets, Thor said. I've been a target since I fell from the stars, Superman replied. What now? Superman looked at the horizon, where reality still shimmered unnaturally. Now we fight the real war. The camera would zoom out here in a YouTube video. The narrator would slow. The music would rise. Because this wasn't the end. This was the moment when Thor became a protector not of Asgard, but of Earth. And Superman? He wasn't just a symbol anymore. He was a warning to every force that thought gods wouldn't stand together, to every manipulator who fed fear to break unity. Because now, Superman and Thor were one front, and time itself was the enemy. The sky didn't return to normal. Even after the battle ended, after Odin left, after the Avengers laid down their weapons, time didn't heal. Because Kang never lost. He just rewrote the timeline where he did. Across the world, things began to fracture. Small at first, a child vanishing from a photo, a tower missing from a skyline, people remembering wars that never happened. Then, worse, heroes appearing out of sequence. Dead ones alive, young ones aged, futures bleeding into the present like a cracked hourglass. And in the middle of it all, Kang smiled. From his lair outside of time, a palace stitched together from centuries. Kang watched the chaos like a composer listens to his final symphony. They think I need to conquer them with armies, he said to himself. Why bother when I can just erase their pasts? Below, reality buckled. The Avengers were meeting at the ruined Stark bunker, but not all of them were who they used to be. Wanda sat at the table, her eyes flickering between red and blue. Somewhere, Her variant had crossed over. A version of her that never lost her children. Peter Parker was younger now, barely 16, and yet he remembered dying in space. Even Banner seemed confused. I swear I fixed the Gamma Core last year, but now it's never been built. Time's collapsing in on itself, said Tony. We're not in a war. We're in a rewrite. Carol crossed her arms. Where's Kang now? Everywhere, Thor said. And nowhere. But Superman, he wasn't sitting. He was outside, floating above the earth, watching time cracks spread across oceans like spiderwebs of cosmic energy. And he knew exactly what Kang was doing. This isn't an invasion, he said, as Thor joined him in the clouds. It's a reset. He's not just breaking us, Thor said. He's rebuilding the timeline in his image. Superman nodded. And soon we won't remember we ever existed at all. Lightning surged around Thor's shoulders as he raised Mjolnir. Then we strike first. But it wouldn't be that easy, because as they prepared their next move, Kang made his. Across the world, time echoes began to awaken. Dark versions of heroes pulled from alternate futures where everything went wrong. A rogue Iron Man from a world where he became Ultron. A Scarlet, who never came back from the Darkhold. A Superman variant with red eyes and no mercy. A Thor who served only Loki. Kang had unleashed counterparts, not clones, not illusions, real variants, stripped from realities he'd conquered and twisted. And they came for the originals. First strike, Wakanda. Storm clouds appeared without warning. But the lightning was blue. Thor's variant landed first, armed with a corrupted Mjolnir dripping with temporal energy. He burned the skies, called down false thunder, and attacked the vibranium core. Black Panther leapt into action, but even Shuri could feel it. This Thor was not a man. He was a timeline infected. Second strike, Gotham. The rogue Superman landed in Metropolis first, tearing through satellite defenses like they were glass. No symbol, no mercy. He wasn't Kal-El. He was Kal-X, the version that lost Lois, lost Earth, lost hope, and decided to make every world pay for it. He stared down the real Superman with eyes glowing like dying suns. You don't deserve peace, Kal-El said. You deserve to see what I became. Then they clashed. Two Kryptonians. One of restraint, one of rage. Buildings shattered. Oceans shifted. The earth tilted. And above them, Kang watched amused. Back in the bunker, the Avengers were scrambling. Where are they coming from? Shouted Sam. Everywhere, said Banner, his eyes wide. Kang's opened mirror timelines. The multiverse isn't just leaking, it's pouring. We need help, Carol snapped. Real help. And then came the voice. Old. Commanding. Not from Earth. Then called the council. The room turned. Doctor Strange stepped through a golden portal, his cape dragging behind him like a red comet. But it wasn't our Strange. This one wore black robes, his hands glowing with raw multiversal magic. Behind him stood others. Jean Grey, her hair a crown of fire. A younger Steve Rogers, not frozen, but from a world that never went to war. A Batman cloaked in shadows, saying nothing, just watching. And from behind them, slowly walked Diana, the Wonder Woman of Earth, too. They were the Council of Anchors, the last surviving heroes across timelines where Kang had failed. They were not from this world, but they were here now, because this world was Kang's next rewrite. We fought him across centuries, Strange said. You can't beat him with strength. You beat him by anchoring time. Anchoring? Asked Tony. You need fixed points. Events that cannot change. Heroes who must exist. If Kang breaks enough of them, your entire history rewrites. And then Thor understood. That's why he sent my father. That's why he turned the Avengers against Superman. He was trying to make us rewrite ourselves. Exactly, Strange said. But now the timeline's fighting back. Superman dropped through the ceiling, cape torn, bleeding slightly, Kal-X's blood on his hands. He's not done, Superman said. But neither are we. Thor stepped forward, lifting Mjolnir again. Then we hold the line. We protect the fixed points. And if we fail? Carol asked. Doctor Strange didn't blink. Then this timeline collapses. Forever. Somewhere beyond the stars, Kang watched it all. Dozens of versions of himself stood behind him, immortals, conquerors, pharaohs, technogods, each from a different age. Let them unite, he said. It makes no difference. Because Kang didn't want to destroy Earth. He wanted Earth to destroy itself. And the final rewrite had already begun. The world was breaking. Skyscrapers flickered like half-loaded memories. Oceans shimmered with echoes of ancient wars that never happened. Time had collapsed into shards, each moment fighting for dominance. Above Earth, the Council of Anchors held the sky together, barely. Doctor Strange chanted incantations so powerful that reality screamed with every syllable. Jean Grey held back a psychic wave that threatened to erase every living mind. And Thor was falling from the stars. Mjolnir cracked against Kal-El's jaw as they plummeted, both gods locked in a death spiral. Lightning met heat vision. Thunder crashed through time. They landed in what used to be Paris, now twisted into a war zone of overlapping realities. But even as Kal-El bled, he laughed. You think this matters? Kang already won. This world's timeline is a corpse. It just hasn't stopped twitching. Thor roared. Then I'll carve truth from the bones. He drove Mjolnir into the earth, unleashing a blast that sent Kal-El reeling into a collapsing tower. But before Thor could follow, another rift opened above him. Kang stepped through. Not a projection, not a variant. The Prime Kang, the one who started it all. He hovered effortlessly, cloaked in technology older than time, flanked by twisted variants of heroes he had broken. Dark Captain Americas, corrupted Hulks, even a twisted Diana wrapped in black armor. Superman appeared beside Thor, hovering, battered but unbroken. Kang stared at them both. This is the fix point, he said. This moment. One of you must fall. One death will anchor the timeline and save the multiverse. The other must die to secure it. Thor and Superman exchanged a glance. The air shifted. Don't listen to him, said Strange from above, barely holding the temporal shield together. He's lying. I'm not, Kang replied. This moment was always meant to end in sacrifice. The multiverse requires it. Kang extended a hand. Choose, or I'll choose for you. The choice was impossible. Two gods, both symbols of restraint, strength, and sacrifice. Brothers not by blood, but by battle. And then Superman flew forward. No, Thor said instantly. You've done enough. You're the anchor, Thor, Superman said quietly. They need you. And what are the people who need you? Superman didn't answer. He simply smiled, and then did something no one expected. He let Kang strike first. The blast ripped through his chest like fire through paper. Time shattered into 1,000 threads, and then began to reassemble. Because Kang was right, one death was needed. But he had never expected it would be voluntary. Superman fell from the sky like a comet, his cape burning, his body broken. But in his final moment, time healed. The collapsing cities rebuilt themselves in a blink. The echo variants disintegrated into memory. The timeline reset, and this time held firm. Kang screamed in rage. This wasn't how it was written. And Thor, eyes glowing like twin suns, rose from the rubble. No, he said. It's how we rewrote it. He threw Mjolnir with such force it tore through Kang's armor, ripping the tyrant into a cascade of sparks and silence. It was over. Earth was saved. But Superman was gone, or so they thought. As the dust settled, Strange looked toward the stars. There's something still moving, he whispered. And far beyond the edge of space, in a hidden pocket of time, a heartbeat returned. Not dead, just rewritten. Superman had anchored time by becoming timeless. And somewhere, in a new world not yet born, his eyes opened.